It's Brian Preston, the money guy.
Steven has a question. Can the guys talk about a financial order of operations for decumulation or popular decumulation strategies?
So here's what's really, really interesting. We get this question all the time. You guys talk so much about accumulation. You don't talk as much about decumulation. Well, there's a reason why. Decumulation is really, really difficult, right? When you think about how you pull money out of your accounts and how you're gonna provide for your lifestyle in retirement and how long your assets need to last you, it is so customized based on every single individual. So we can give you like some generalized advice, but decumulation is really, really difficult. That's why we can say something like, oh, so long as you're this age, you have a 3.5% withdrawal rate, or this age, you have a 5% withdrawal rate. That gives you some information, but not great information, right? Because what happens? How do you change that? How does it adjust? It's really, really difficult to talk strictly about decumulation in any sort of specific level because everyone's unique. Now, I will give you one little free piece of tidbit advice. This is a general piece of advice, and I'm sure you're gonna add a ton of flavor on this. If you notice, as you walk through the financial order of operations, you wanna hold it up for me, Brian? I love when you hold it up. Financial order of operations, you get this for free, moneyguy.com/resources. The way that most people begin to build is you fund your tax-free, your Roth stuff first, and then you go tax-deferred, and then you go after tax. That's kind of how you stack your buckets. When it comes time to start unstacking your buckets, if you want like the very elementary, rudimentary way you do it, you work in reverse. You pull after tax, and then deferred, and then tax-free. That's the generalized advice, but I'll tell you, having worked with hundreds of folks in retirement, it doesn't always work out exactly that way for every individual.
Well, I just want to elaborate on why everybody is like, we all have different fingerprints. We also have different retirement structures. Because when people come to us, I'm always amazed how unique everybody is. Because somebody will come to me with 90% after-tax assets, because they never had a good 401k or something, and they sold a piece of land or a business. And then there's somebody else will come to me and they'll have 80% in tax deferred, and then the other 20% will be sprinkled between Roth accounts and after tax. And then there's all kind of just, everybody comes in all shapes and sizes of what their 3-bucket strategy looks like when they reach us at retirement. And then the other thing is cash flow. Maybe you worked for a school system or a government that didn't withhold Social Security, so you have no cash flow coming in from Social Security. And then others where both spouses worked or one spouse only worked, and you've got Social Security streams, and you have to choose, is it 62, is it 67, is it going to be 70? And then a few of you still have, pensions. You come to us, like, I have a client that, it's so funny, because we just did a retirement plan, and he literally, because he worked at a company for, was it a year or two when he was in college, I think he gets $16
as a pension benefit.
I don't want to screw this up because he's listening. He's going to see it. I'm trying to remember if it was $16 a month or it might even be like $16 or $17 a year. It was something laughable that we actually made some jokes about it while we were doing his recent retirement plan. So, but meanwhile, there's other, like I have a client that has it's not 6 figures, but it's pretty close to it with all the cost of living adjustments, pension. You can imagine that's big.
It's big money.
When you have that. So everybody is so different, Stephen, and I'll just be blunt. Bo's always so polite, and I guess everybody thinks I'm the nice one, but I'll still say it. I think the reason we don't talk about deaccumulation because everybody is so unique and it's got to be personalized. This is when you're supposed to graduate the abundance cycle. If you are successful enough that you have so many questions about how do I do this in the best possible way, that is, you are poster child for why you need a personal CFO or a co-pilot to help you make the right decisions, because you only get one retirement. Meanwhile, we've helped hundreds of people go through retirement. So it's one of those things where let us use our experience and knowing where the pitfalls, where the traps are, to do it, to maximize your full potential. So I know nobody likes that because, look, I love getting free stuff. We have a whole process of giving you all the free content you want. But there is this whole graduation where you take our free stuff, you learn, apply, and then we've even created tools like the net worth tool, as well as Know Your Number course to help you accelerate that success. But when you get to the tippity top of critical mass and now you're just so complex that you need somebody, don't skimp on that. That's something that I grew up in a house where we didn't invest because we were great at saving, but we did CDs because they were perceived as safe. I grew up in a house where I think my dad repaired everything because he didn't want to pay somebody to pay the service calls and that stuff. I'm the exact opposite because I have recognized that people pay me for my expertise. And it's just like I hire attorneys. I cuss about attorneys, but I hire them. They know it. Reba, you know, and I love
I know.
But when I get those invoices, I'm like, son of a gun. But thank God, when I'm Googling terms, I know that I should have hired. I know that is an indicator. I need an attorney on this. And it's the same thing when I have repairs. Why go learn something if I can pay somebody that's going to do it faster, better, and protect me? I practice what I preach. I eat my own cooking.